Welcome back to GB Guns. This is the variant 1 from Darkstorm Industries Non-NFA firearm. I'll explain how that works, how this doesn't require the $5 tax or $200 tax, or any of that, as well as a deeper look at this gun, coming up next on GB Guns. So, the elephant in the room. We have a pistol brace, adjustable pistol brace, and a 12.5 inch barrel, and a vertical foregrip. How are we pulling that off? Well, Darkstorm Industries, similar to the Gen 12 shotgun that you saw me do, has found, well, basically the loophole. To make sure this is clear to everybody, I'm going to actually read something for once on the video. It's not a rifle, because it does not have a stock, not designed to be fired from the shoulder. That's correct, right? These braces can occasionally touch the shoulder, but that can't be the intended use. It's not a pistol because it has a barrel length of 12.5 inches and features a vertical forward grip, and is intended to be fired with two hands. One hand here, one hand here. So it's not a pistol. And it's not any other weapon because it has an overall length greater than 26 inches and is designed to be fired from the shoulder and features a forward vertical grip. So, by dancing between those definitions, this is a non-NFA firearm, and as I understand it, is not considered an assault weapon in Connecticut or New Jersey. Sorry for those of you in Massachusetts, New York, California, and Maryland. You still need to move to another state before you can get some freedom, or change the government there, which I know is a whole lot easier said than done. Not looking to pick fights, just telling you what happened. Anyways, on to this thing. This is a tabletop breakdown. There's a lot going on in this thing. As you can see, they are billet receivers made in-house by Darkstorm Industries. You may recall, for those of you who have been with us for a while, we've covered a couple other guns from Darkstorm Industries. None of them as intricate as this. We've got our SB Tactical adjustable brace, a billet ambi charging handle, also from Darkstorm Industries, Darkstorm Industries bolt, Hogue grip, a DSI or Darkstorm Industries ambi billet safety selector. Nice flare to the mag well there. Clean cut handguard with the unnecessary rail section removed there. It does still have M-lock slots there, but I mean, honestly, how often do you really need that spot? Either you're running a scope like this, or you're running irons with something up front. Sure, you could have a magnifier, or those of you operator types that want to have infrared target designators and things. Well, you still have your mag pull there, or your M-lock there. I also have a low-profile gas block from Darkstorm Industries. The barrel is chambered in 5.56 and is a 1-in-7 right-hand twist. And then we've got this brake on the end, also by DSI. I'm going to separate the upper and lower so we can get a closer look, and also take a look at that bolt. Now, one thing with billet uppers like this, especially when they're built to the standards that Darkstorm builds, you notice there's zero play there. Good tight fit. That means also that you might have to find a way to tap the takedown pins out, because they are indeed in there. So with our pins out, and yeah, the gun's a little dirty and already has that crimson trace on there. That's because I've already shot it. I just couldn't wait. Do you blame me? Take a look at the lower receiver here. Lots of interesting detail. We still have plenty of strength, but it has been reduced where it can be. And makes for a really lightweight piece. Not sure what the weight is here, but it feels rather light. You can see multiple layers of machining that they've done there. Also, that we have inside there, if the light will get it, a tensioning screw to keep the upper and lower tight. Certainly not necessary on this one. And all of our markings. And one of the things that's really cool about these guys, I don't know if you're familiar with Darkstorm Industries, but they're in New York. One of the most restrictive states out there. And they're making this stuff They make 50 state legal rifles. They make variants for all the different states and various restrictions that are out there. So I think it's pretty cool of them to offer something to people who don't have freedom while working to support freedom. This is their billet ambi charging handle, which you can see is their own design. Works nice. I like that it has such a large reach out and around for that cut that's in the upper receiver. Too often you end up with that scraping and marring up your receiver. Speaking of upper receivers, very cool futuristic design. Nice small but purposeful brass deflector that does its job. Plenty of space here for an enlarged bolt release if you want to use one, and the hole is threaded on the lower receiver, so swapping them out is not a pain in the butt. You get QD points towards the back of the handguard. Nice and lightweight. Plenty of airflow there. And looking at the bottom of our upper, we can see Made in New York, USA. Yeah, it's upside down. Bear with me. Now to take a look at this bolt and carrier, it's basically a GI design. Laser etched, feels like a phosphate finish, but a very smooth, fine one. Not super rough. We'll take a look at the bolt itself. There's a firing pin, good and dirty, because, well, like I said, I've had this out on the range already. Get the cam pin out if it wants to rotate. There's our bolt. Nice build up there of carbon. Interesting formation pattern there. Wonder if that's from it being a shorter barrel. See, it's built up into flakes on the edge there. Do not see our MPI mark. There is something marked there. Let me get a wipe and see if we can make that a little clearer. These are the rim wipes that I like to use for cleaning. If you are considering picking up some of these, I don't care if you use our Amazon store or not, but stay away from the Pro models unless you just want to be super, super oily. The basic ones work fine for me. I'm going to need to brush this, obviously, to get the carbon off. Don't see the MPI marking. Now we'll punch out our extractor and see if we have the improved type or not, and we do. Those of you not in the know, what we're talking about here is having that donut around the spring and a little polymer piece inside the spring. Just adds a little support to the extractor. Helps it last a little longer and function a little more reliably. So with that, we've had our basic up close look at this thing. With it being a 12.5-inch barrel, obviously you're going to have some velocity loss versus 16 or 18, but is it going to be so much that rounds aren't effective? Who knows? Is it going to be so much with only a 1-in-7 twist that the rounds aren't going to stabilize? Well, when we get out to the range, we will do a 50-yard accuracy test. Going from 50 yards on guns of this size, to me it just kind of makes sense. I mean, yes, you can shoot farther, but for me to shoot farther than 50 and shoot some groups that are actually representative of the firearm and not my inability to shoot, got to slap a big optic on there. And a big optic on a little gun, just kind of silly, so we'll stick with this 3.5 here. And you'll see us run a couple different loads. But keep in mind, with a 12.5-inch barrel and a 1-in-7 twist, we are talking about 1 3/4-ish revolutions that the round has to be stabilized prior to exiting the barrel. So it doesn't have nearly as much time to get some good guidance as to which direction it's headed as it would in a longer barrel. So it'll be interesting to see with a couple different loads how they do at 50 yards. I understand that Darkstorm does their barrels in-house, does all their rifling in-house. Do I have this backwards? Yes, I do. And I like that about them. Also really, really appreciate, like I said earlier, that they're fighting the good fight for those folks in New York and in the restricted states. We've talked to them a couple times about getting in one of their 50 state legal guns, just because as a pseudo free man here in Oregon, I'm not sure what all it's like to have to deal with those restrictions. I think it would be interesting. Plus, I know a lot of you are in California. I don't know if you watch this to dream or to remind yourself of what the Constitution is supposed to be providing for you, despite what your politicians seem to think down there. I used to be a Californian, so I kind of commiserate with that. I understand the pain. It's just after Iraq and Afghanistan, I'll be damned if I was going to go live in a state that wouldn't let me practice and enjoy the same freedoms that I had just been shot at to protect. That's the Variant 1 Non-NFA Firearm Tabletop. The range impressions have already been filmed. I'm doing my best to not give away any spoilers. So look for that video coming soon if you haven't already seen it in the article. A little stick there. That's what happens when you don't do a full cleaning job. But man, that cycle's smooth. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the range.